Send us your topics for Let's Talk About so we can fill Vader's head back up and Kevin doesn't have to try and get his hand in the tiniest version.
I got one.
You got one?
I think I got only one. Yeah. Oh wow, it's a big piece. Oh.
What is it, Kevin?
Okay, it is space travel.
Woohoo! Let's talk about space travel.
Space travel.
I mean, Kevin.
We run segments on this every week.
Yeah, we talk about this at least once a week. We end up talking about something that's related to space travel.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think in this, I was thinking about
much more
humans.
low key. Oh,
Well,
okay, humans.
I was thinking about transporting humans in space. So we got SpaceX. SpaceX is huge, right? They're skyrocketing.
Yes.
I mean, they've got their human carriers now.
Yeah. So Dragon, and then eventually the Dragon Mark II will be bringing humans up to the ISS at some point in the near future.
Right.
So in the next few years, once they get human certified,
Mm-hmm.
Boeing might actually beat them to it.
Really? To getting to being the first non-NASA U.S. carrier of people to the space station.
They're giving SpaceX a run for their money, so it's one of those. I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up happening, because their CST-100 is fairly far along from what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
But they're just much quieter about it than SpaceX is.
That's true. I mean, so if I remember correctly, you can check out our old video where we actually talked about this. Dream Chaser. They're still Sierra Nevada's still trying to get a smaller version of Dream Chaser going. Is that what it is?
Yeah. So they scaled back the team, but they're still a team.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there were talks about maybe a 2 or 3 person vehicle that would then be smaller and then use the other space for cargo space.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wouldn't be the mass people mover that Dragon or the CST would be.
It wouldn't be the minivan of the skies, as
Right.
it was originally going to be.
Exactly.
And then we still have, I mean, so that's sort of the current landscape of space, of human space travel to the space station.
Right.
We also just tested Orion successfully.
And that's for deep space.
That's for deep space, which is exciting. And then previously, which is what we talked about on Brain Tank last week, was the space shuttle, which was the coolest thing that we had on this planet for like 30 years. Couldn't beat that thing.
ludicrously complex.
But so awesome.
It's awesome for 10 times the price that it was originally quoted at. But it is awesome. I mean, we couldn't have built the ISS without it.
Look,
So
Elon Musk wasn't around to
Yes,
make
to solve all of his problems.
cheaper version of the space shuttle back in the day.
Can you imagine
Let's do that. We'll
what
just
a SpaceX space shuttle would have looked like?
it would have been awesome. Is what it would have been, and we can still do that. They can. I mean, Dream Chaser just looks like a tiny version of the space shuttle. Why not? It's a great. I love the design. It's so cool. It's iconic.
It is.
Now we're
Because
doing
it lasted for 30 years.
right, and now we're going back to the old, capsule.
Yeah.
style.
From whoever I've talked to, it seems that asymmetrical designs like the shuttle really isn't favored anymore because of all of the dangers implicit in it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So everyone just feels more comfortable having the inline design with the capsule on top.
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, it makes perfect sense.
Yes.
It's just
Just
not
on
as
an
sexy.
on an emotional front.
It's just not
It doesn't,
sexy.
doesn't have the looks of the shuttle.
No, it looks terrible. It's not that it looks terrible. It just doesn't look as sexy. Except when you look at that heat shield. The heat shield on Orion. That looks pretty sexy. That one giant piece. Yeah, that's awesome.
One thing that I don't think that I've ever mentioned on the show, maybe I mentioned it once, is inflatable space station modules by
Yeah,
Bigelow.
We did talk about that.
And so there really hasn't been too much news on that front, but
Bouncy castles in space.
it's definitely something that moving into the future, it could be cheap habitation modules that you could connect to, for example, Orion, if you were to send it out to some far
space.
location, and you wanted the astronauts to have some extra room to move around in.
Yeah, exercise or, to not be cramped in. I mean, so Orion has the
4 seats.
4 seats, and then that's just the capsule, right? But it has a land. It should have a lander on it, right?
Well, if it's going
If
to land
if it
on
goes to
anything.
Mars, if it goes to Mars.
Right. So, and that's something that not many people have directly addressed that, yeah, Orion will get us to Mars, but it'll get us to Mars orbit.
Uh-huh.
And
how do we get down?
And then any animations show Orion like as part of a lander and then launching off, but that technology doesn't
exist yet.
Like, hasn't been assembled yet. What's probably going to happen is use some kind of secondary capsule that's on what, because also when we go to Mars, it's just not going to be Orion.
Oh yeah, no.
Orion's going to be like the command module.
Yeah.
There's going to be a habitation module, and then probably some sort of lander.
Oh yeah, because you need to be able to, first of all, bring enough supplies for those people to last that long.
Boeing actually just recently released a video detailing what they think a Mars mission assembly would look like.
Really cool.
So we could probably put a link to that.
That link will be right here and in the description below.
But what I'm thinking of is, for the lander, the SpaceX Dragon Mark II technology of having thrusters built into the side of your capsule could be used, not necessarily even on the lander capsule, but some kind of service module connected to the lander to help it land onto the surface of Mars and then launch back right up.
Yeah, I prefer, I mean, this is just me being a very environmentally conscious person. We don't just leave crap lying around like we did on the moon. Because we still have crap up there that we just left there because that's how we did it.
Like the landing stages.
Yeah, it's still there. We're going to keep talking about space travel, and I think I'm going to get Kevin to start talking about science fiction space travel. But you can follow us on that journey by clicking our faces right now and going over to Let's Talk More, or you can watch our last week's episode of Brain Tank, which was about the space shuttle, so you can still get more space travel right there. It's easy. It's a win-win situation. You can also like this video, because you probably did. You can also comment below about what you think space travel is going to be like in the next 20, 30 years. Would you like to go to Mars? Would you like to go to Europa? Because apparently Republicans are sending people to Europa.
Not people. Not just robots.
Just large sums of money are going to Europa. And you can also subscribe right down below there. You can also support the show by buying t-shirts and mugs over at spacetv.spreadshirt.com. And that's pretty much everything you can do without clicking on our faces to watch the next video. So get on that. We'll see you out there.